Fudge. Hey guys, it's me, Val. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about podcasts. I love them. Full disclaimer, if you hear like weird jingling in the background, it's Bjorn because he's right next to me playing with some toys. If you hear like a weird licking sound, it's probably one of our dogs licking their paws or their butts. I love a good podcast. I think the first podcast that I listened to that I was like, oh my god, what is this? And why have I not listened to more of these was Serial. Now that it's several years later, there are other podcasts that I listen to religiously, and some of which I've listened to episodes more than once. Okay, look who's joining us. I don't have time to do a lot of stuff, and podcasts have just been a way to keep my brain entertained. I will say that when he is playing, when he is in like his chair or a jungle gym or his activity center, like it's cute to see him play and I like interacting with him, but it isn't very stimulating to the adult brain. So I like to listen to podcasts while I'm hanging out with him. I don't want him watching television quite yet. So I listen to podcasts because it's still a form of entertainment for me, but it's not like he's looking at a screen. I also love podcasts because I can do cleaning, I can cook, I can feed him, I can do so many things while I'm listening to an entertaining podcast. So because I love them so much, I wanted to share. My hair I swear is falling out. Postpartum hair loss is real, and it's just like always in my face, or I feel like little hairs just all over my body. Anyways, because I love podcasts so much, I wanted to share with you guys, baby toy, some of my favorite podcasts, and I think I'm gonna keep it to 3, and then I don't know, if people want to hear about more, then I'll tell you some other ones that I really like. So the first podcast I want to share with you guys is called The Birth Hour. The podcast really saved me and kept my mind, it kept my mind calm when I wasn't sure what I was going to do with my birth. When I was in the middle of deciding what kind of care I was going to have and what kind of labor I wanted, which was very late in the game, someone recommended that I listen to The Birth Hour, and The Birth Hour is a podcast where the host just introduces a mother and they talk about their story, their birth story, and I listened to so many of those episodes. And they talk about the journey on getting pregnant. They talk about the pregnancy and they share their birth stories and they share postpartum and they give resources, and it really just is inspiring and very empowering, especially I think if you're pregnant, to hear a lot of success stories. And I guess it can also be scary because you do hear some pretty terrifying things during the podcast, during certain episodes. But I really stuck to just trying to like pull as many home birth episodes as I possibly could listen to, just to hear how those experiences were. And there were a lot of episodes where the women had a hospital birth and it wasn't the kind of birth that she wanted, and she experienced some trauma from it, and so she decided to have a home birth next time with her following kids. It's just an amazing podcast and it's really empowering and uplifting. So that's The Birth Hour. I love it. The next podcast I have to share, which is more along the lines of like vegan advocacy, is Food for Thought, and it's hosted by a wonderful woman. Her name is Colleen Patrick Goudreau, and she talks about all things vegan that you could possibly think of. She talks about compassion, she talks about advocacy within the vegan community, she talks about recipes, the steps of going vegan, things that happen along the line. She talks about, she'll focus on different things to each episode. So she'll talk about like chickens and how chickens are bred, how they are confined, and how they pretty much get to our plate a lot of just terrible things that happen within slaughterhouses that the average consumer doesn't know about. And I don't know, I love that she's like so logical about all of this stuff, but also like you can tell she's just very passionate about it as well. And she talks just about the ethics of veganism and why she's vegan. Her podcast is just like, it sends a really great message. So food for thought, check it out. Okay, the last podcast I'm going to talk about today, so the third podcast, is my favorite podcast of all podcasts, and that is the My Favorite Murder podcast. It is a true crime comedy podcast hosted by Georgia Hardstark and Karen Kilgariff, and they are magnificent women. They bring comedy to something that's so tragic, and they talk a lot about mental health, and they are just like so down to earth and so relatable in many ways. I just love the podcast. So apart from being a true crime junkie, it's like also getting my dose of comedy as well, and learning about horrific crimes that have been committed, and just kind of listening to a conversation about that subject. And a lot of people don't like to talk about true crime. They don't like to talk about awful things that are happening. So being able to still participate in something that I am very interested in, without scaring people away, is amazing. But yeah, I love that podcast, and I've been listening to it for years. They actually released a book recently, and I listened to it on Audible, and I'm actually re-listening to it right now because why the hell not? Yeah, I love podcasts, and if you don't listen to podcasts, you should give it a shot. So that's all I have for you today. Let me know if you listen to the podcasts, or if you tried and you hated them. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!